Alright, hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between Effect versus Ente, taking place here on Twisted Meadows. Over here, as the blue human player, we have Effect spawn. Actually, no, I'm gonna go ahead and swap the colors. There we go, we have Effect spawning as the red human over here on the top right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, we have Ente spawning as the blue undead. First things first, I want to say this, get it out of the way. I did not get invited to BlizzCon as of yet. I say that just in case maybe I do get invited. I know that back to WarCraft guys were already invited as well. And well, checking my mail, no reaching out. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'll be able to do any BlizzCon coverage for you unless there is a call in the 9th, 10th, or 11th hour. Hopefully that does come to pass. If it doesn't, well, I will be eager and I will be going over patch notes and any updates that we may have with WarCraft 3 Reforged as it becomes available. Now, as things are getting underway, we're looking at Ente opening up with a pretty standard build. There's the Crypt, there's that Death Knight, Tomb of Relics. And one thing I do want to note is I believe this game was actually taken back in June. So if you're expecting like the latest and greatest, or you were expecting the latest and greatest Dreadlord opening or anything of that nature, definitely not going to be the case. That wasn't part of the meta as of yet. Meanwhile, Effect is opening up with this Archmage off over here and should be able to call to arms and try and clear out this Rock Golem creep camp. Being able to get a little bit of a time advantage and then try and translate that into an on-the-field advantage with more experience, more units, or proper positioning. That's what you're trying to do in any, well, real-time strategy game. Some people often ask me, like, how do you win in real-time strategy games? And the real answer is do it faster than your opponent, and you will end up winning. I mean, if you get up to a maximum supply army faster than your opponent, or if you get your hero higher up in level faster than your opponent, that's really what it takes to win the game. And right, so that's just part of the reasons why you're constantly trying to keep track of everything here. Now let's take a look at this. Did the Death Knight get any experience? Death Knight does have some experience so far, so not quite sure what exactly the Acolyte took out. Acolyte took out. Nope, okay, sorry, the Acolyte did not take it. I just didn't see the gold. Oh, so the earlier gold shot right there was what was actually taken down. Meanwhile, Water Elemental very low on hit points. Skeletal Minions may actually be able to finish it off. There, oh no denial as of yet. There's the denial once more. Peasant now taken down, as we may see another Peasant getting taken out as well. All right, there goes another Peasant, but that is at the hands of the Archmage, as the Death Knight, oh, could be in trouble. Is the Death Knight going to be able to slip through? The Peasants had the right wall and then ended up not, well, doing enough. All right, let's take a look at this Militia being called back over. Archmage will get to level 2 right there. There you have it, level 2 on the Archmage with the Belt of Giant Strength. One Acolyte, well, that Acolyte needs to get the memo. It shouldn't be there any longer. Meanwhile, Effect, sitting at 28 supply, could try and clear out the remainder of this creep camp, as the Death Knight now also tries to swing over as well. Death Knight is low on hit points and will have to be a cold and calculating Death Knight if it wants to try and Death Coil and finish off that unit. Double ensnare is making it difficult, as the Death Knight now being forced to retreat here. Peasants being able to, well, wall off this position here, as we now see a tech tier 2. Skeletal Minion's gonna try and engage. Skeletal Minion, oh, is gonna be able to finish off that Peasant. Peasant almost, yes, he does get taken down. Another Rod of Necromancy charge could be happening. Archmage was able to get inside his own base there. Water Elemental still being left back, as the Death Knight will now have Crypt Fiends joining with him. The problem, though, is that the Archmage is out onto the field with that range attack, and the Death Knight, with no easy way to heal, is not going to be able to stick around for very long. By the time that Death Knight gets within melee range of anything, he will easily get surrounded or forced into a position that he doesn't want to stick around with. Now, his follow-up play, what are his options? Ente's options at this point is to get to tier 2, get obsidian statues, and then make another play then. Water Elemental not coming across here, or he could try and go for a bit of harassment, and that's exactly what we're seeing. All right, a little bit of a, well, gutsy move by Effect to try and go after a rather difficult creep camp. Troll Shadow Priest most likely will get taken out right there. There's a little bit of a heal. He backs himself into a corner, and he was trying to heal himself away from the melee damage, but at least he forced his opponent. Oh, are we gonna have a surround? No. Oh, a little bit of a miscalculation by Effect again. He could have easily surrounded that Crypt Fiend, forced an engagement, and instead let it go. All right, Footman trying to chase after those units there, trying to get another skeletal minion, perhaps going to be able to get off that damage there. The Crypt Fiend down to 145 hit points. Crypt Fiend finishes off another skeletal minion once more as the Archmage desperately wants to get to level 3. Death Knight, without Unholy Aura, still unable to really get into a good position and spot. Let's take a look. The Slaughterhouse is here. Death Knight is here as well. What is going on? The Death Knight picking up another Rod of Necromancy. Slaughterhouse is being trained. Here comes the Lich as well. Low hit point Footman gonna be able to back away. Death Coil saves as Effect. Well, he should be at tier 2, getting up Rifleman and getting that Mountain King as well. Timing is going to be key here, and where you choose to fight your next battle will be critical. If you are closer, well, the resurrection times and the training times on the heroes are, well, I thought there was a Lich in training. There it is. There is a Lich in training already out on the field, but by the time the Lich makes its way over to the human side of the map, the Mountain King will already be in position. With that said, the timing and a better use of time is to go creeping at this stage. Get, allow the first Obsidian statue to join in on the fight, heal back up this army while you are gaining experience for your units as well. Meanwhile, Effect is in a little bit of a strange spot. He doesn't want to venture out too far forward. He knows that his opponent's Lich is out onto the field, and with a well-timed Frost Nova coupled with Unholy Aura for faster movement speed and the range on those Crypt Fiends, that could be a lot of dead Footmen. Mountain King is out onto the field. Archmage is at level 3 already. Let's take a look at this. It was a Thunderclap as the ability, as we're going to see a number of units getting taken down here. Water Elemental taking damage. Oh, Ogre Warrior down to 9 hit points, not joining in on the fight for some strange reason, as this last Forest Troll Warlord will get taken down, giving level 2 to the Mountain King. Alright, are we going to see a Scroll of Regeneration be used? Let's take a look at this. Are we going to perhaps just poke down this unit right there? The Rifleman just shoots him in the back before the Footman gets within melee range. The Footman wanted the kill, but then he would have lost his healing as well. During this time, Ring of Regeneration on a Death Knight. Very nice, as the Death Knight is often a frontline hero that cannot heal himself. That additional 2 hit points per second coupled with Obsidian statues and that Unholy Aura makes for a rather difficult to kill Death Knight. Add on top of that a potion of healing, and that Death Knight probably will not be going down and probably not worth focusing by Effect. I mean, the hit points are just going to naturally regenerate anyways. As we're taking a look, wow, that Rifleman down to 156 hit points, taking a lot of damage right there. Gonna go ahead and get taken down. Mountain King gets up to level 3 and surprisingly sells the True Shot, the True Shot Aura given to the Archmage. Mountain King now here as well. I was gonna say, where is that True Shot Aura? The Rifleman, the Water Elementals, even the Priests gaining bonus damage to fight back these units. So each aura item is effectively trying to make each unit 10% stronger overall in terms of damage or effectiveness. Movement speed, that's a little bit more difficult to calculate, and a movement speed and also a natural regeneration. All three of those things are those two things are difficult to really quantify. Now, we do see that the Crypt Lord is out onto the field. The Crypt Lord looks like he probably has Impale first, and this is a very classic Undead, Frozen Throne strategy. Footman gonna get taken down, and no reason to be in that front line spot, especially if it could have just attacked another Footman to switch aggro. Ring of Protection +5 now on that Mountain King, more than doubling his armor. And now, with his natural protection being at 35%, having about, 1,600 hit points, or effective hit points when you try and accommodate for armor. Alright, Forest Troll, High Priest, Shadow Priest, both of those gonna get taken down. Manual of Health, are you gonna go ahead and pick it up? Yes, Mountain King up to 1125. He is gonna be difficult to take out, and he also has a good amount of mana. Both sides, instead of engaging against each other as we saw earlier in the game, they have now gone to their respective corners. We are looking to free up some space for the Paladin in this tri-hero combination, as the Archmage also wants to get to level 2. Now, what does this mean? It means that the heroes are going to be much more powerful in the upcoming battle, and they are going to be making a much bigger impact throughout. Alright, low hit point Footman. Why is it backing off right there? Mountain King should really thunderclap here. It does damage while reducing the amount of damage all of these units do. Orb of Darkness now picked up as well, as you're going to take a look. Ogre Magi now taken out, as another Ogre Magi will fall, giving skeletal minions, but we now see a Scroll of Town Portal heading back. Oh, Destroyers impaling all of those units right there. Let's take a look at this Archmage. He's gonna try and fight his way, but Archmage could be in trouble. Archmage down to 500 hit points. There's a Thunderclap. Is the item going to be given over to them? Impale again. Archmage, Scroll of Healing. Mountain King. All the sides are fighting. There is another Thunderclap. Archmage has been taken down, as the Destroyers are eating through much of this. 45 supply compared to 51. And the Paladin was just about 20 seconds late from being able to heal that Archmage and make that fight a bit more difficult. Alright, trying to Scroll of Town Portal right in a spot where none of your units can really flee. Also, those impales caused a lot of damage, not only by just dealing damage, but because all of the units were so tightly packed, you saw a higher concentration of that impale actually affecting units. And on top of that, stunning those units for a good amount of time as well. Mountain King gonna try and back away. Let's take a look at this Paladin. Holy Lights healing up some units again. Corrupt of Vitality. The Mountain King could easily get up to 1,300 hit points. Instead, gonna go to the Paladin, as the Paladin is the weakest link in terms of the fact that he cannot easily heal himself. Now, Undead at this point has a bit of an advantage. Destroyers are out onto the field. We saw a little bit of Bloodlust being cast, but quickly devoured as well. We're going to see another one right there. Are we going to see another Devour Magic? No Devour Magic there, as the Death Knight is at 3, and the Crypt Lord will also be getting to level 3. Lich was taken out earlier, so losing the Lich to an Archmage, it's still a decent trade, as we're now looking at, an expansion attempt by Ente. Ente is sitting at 50 over 54 supply, or 50 over 70. Meanwhile, Effect is sitting at 54. He wants to try and make a bit of a play happen. Mountain King is at 4. Paladin is already at 2. Doesn't have Devotion, or a Paladin's going to try and engage here. Rifleman going to be dealing a lot of focus damage here. There is 1-0 upgrades on those Riflemen, but because the Archmage was taken down, no Brilliance or a bonus. Alright, Potion of Greater Mana also on that Mountain King. As we all have seen in games past, there is nothing more scary than a Mountain King with mana in terms of just really being effective and overperforming based on what you see from a single unit. Alright, Altar of Kings here, ready to go. Archmage sitting here with an Orb of Fire. This is incredibly important. This does reduce the amount of effective healing, so Death Coils all of a sudden fall quite a bit short in terms of how much they are healing. Instead of 600 damage, down to about 400 damage. Also, Unholy Aura, the effectiveness of that healing and the passive regeneration is also slowed down as well. What does that do? It opens things up for units to actually get focused down rather fast. Let's take a look at this Orb of, Frost Nova, Death Coil. Death Knight could be in trouble. You see him now absorbing a whole bunch of damage. Flying Machine going after those units every which way. Priest are now trying to fall back as well. Priest are going to be able to get away, trying to heal up. Death Coil unable to save a Crypt Fiend, and that's actually the worst possible there. While the unit dies, and while the missile of the Death Coil is in transit. Mountain King is going to be able to Stormbolt. Oh, no! Well, he is able to Stormbolt the Abomination, but unable to finish it off. It was down to 5 hit points, and, well, the Abomination, Scroll of Town Portal, allowed him to get away. We are now sitting at 49 supply compared to 50. Overall supply pretty even. Mountain King perhaps kicking himself right now for allowing that unit to escape. A single Rifleman making its way over would have been enough. Paladin sitting at level 3 now. Orb of Fire right there. Orb of Darkness was actually sold earlier as the Death Knight, Lich, and Crypt Lord now makes their way out. A very nasty 1, 2, 3 combination coming back together. Let's take a look at this. Lich here ready to go. Death Knight, all these units going to be moving on out. Let's take a look. Flying Machines may be able to spot this inner fire on these units, and that may come back as a double-edged sword, as the destroyers will quickly devour that. Let's take a look at this. All of this damage right here. Stormbolt, is it possible onto any of those units? No, Abomination getting Stormbolted. We're going to be looking at a Death Coil right there. Holy Light onto the Archmage as the Priest finish off a unit and get also one of those creeps as well. All right, fighting every which way. 2 Abominations already. God, are we going to see a Holy Light on that Rifleman? No, we are not. Stormbolt on another Abomination, and just going straight after all of those units here. Archmage getting healed back up. Mountain King trying to survive here. Priest are here as well, turning back around. Rifleman unable to finish off the air units. Ensnare onto another Rifleman as it gets taken out as well. 3 destroyers currently out onto the field. 1 Abomination, 183 supply. What is going on here? Is the Archmage actually going to spot this Abomination? No, Abomination correctly decides to move away from that path, as the Death Knight could be in trouble. All right, let's take a look at this. Archmage trying to get away. Crypt Lord can easily get in and impale off on that onto that Archmage. Meanwhile, Mountain King and Paladin still wandering around. Mountain King still has a potion of greater mana. That is incredibly important to remember. Stormbolt back onto that Death Knight and saying, you know what, if you're really just going to want to challenge or try to run, oh, Death Coil. Death Coil finishes it off of the Impale. I'm sure he was trying to spam that Divine Shield, but it did not work. What is going on? Mountain King trying to get away. Down to saved by the staff right there, as that Mountain King needs to get healed up quickly. Archmage, what is he going to do? Orb of Fire. Units are going to try to head back every which way. There is the Devour Magic right there, as the Mountain King now, well, back in play, fighting on the inside. Effect, well, resurrecting some units, getting up some more Riflemen, 2 Flying Machines. That is it. Not much to really talk about, as the heals are, well, need to become stronger. Mountain King perhaps should be the one with the Orb of Fire in order to take down these destroyers. The destroyers are really where the damage is at right now. Massive repairs are underway, trying to keep these units alive, as the Archmage, Riflemen, are they going to try and engage here? Here we go. Mountain King does not have the Orb of Fire, and that is a big issue indeed. All right, Lich, is it going to get, well, there's a Frost Nova right there. Mountain King trying to head back again. Rifleman trying to pick apart more units. Death Knight out of mana and decides, you know what, without the Obsidian statue to give me mana, that Lich is just far too low. I do not want to risk it. Paladin will make its way back out. Ente now with a 10 supply advantage and an economic advantage.
Our forces are under attack.
Meanwhile, back down across here, Effect trying to mine away at this expansion that he had set up not too long ago. Let's take a look how much gold is left. About what he's been mining there for about 1,400 gold for about 2.5 minutes. 1 destroyer gets taken down. This could actually become a little bit of an issue, as, well, more units are escaping again. Mountain King just perhaps wondering, I wish there was a way I could attack you. Archmage, do you have any idea? Archmage looks at his Orb of Fire and says, I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, Mountain King really would have benefited from that Orb of Fire, as I've said, but it normally does belong on the Archmage. Perhaps Effect doesn't want to micromanage the items at this stage, as the Flying Machines are now once again wandering out once more. Abomination 0/0 upgrades. Effect at 55. Ente at 56 compared to 64. Paladin is now back out onto the field. Level 3 Paladin needs to get a bit more mana as well. Let's take a look. Majority of the creep camps have been cleared out now. Only the corner creep camps or starting location green creep camps are available, which, well, makes for a rather dull story. All right, let's see what's going to be happening next. Archmage sitting at level 4. Flying Machines just joining up on the fight. 1/0 upgrades. Are we getting any additional upgrades? No, we are not. 1/0 compared to 0/0 and 0/0. So I will say this. Effect's army is a little bit smaller in terms of supply, but efficiency per unit may actually be higher, except for the fact that there are destroyers out onto the field, making that inner fire pretty much useless. If Ente loses those 2 destroyers and that inner fire is allowed to be cast, I do not know who is going to end up winning this game. It is going to be too much of a discrepancy because of the fact that the +5 armor, the bonus damage, and well, also taking out those destroyers, then the riflemen, or excuse me, then the other units don't have to worry about nearly as much. But we are looking at currently 5 abominations out on the field with no easy way to really counter them. All right, 3 priests. Let's take a look at where all of these units are going to go next. Oh, we are going into a possible expansion location. Flying Machine does in fact spot this. We should be looking at perhaps a cancel of that one particular of these of this particular necropolis here. There it goes, and well, that one last acolyte should get taken down rather fast as well, down to 130, down to dead, as we see that cancel there. All right, some resources lost in the canceling of those summoned buildings. Fighting up on high ground, Archmage should really be backing up. Fighting up on high ground is actually a good thing. There you have it, Mountain King is going to be able to land and perhaps drop a Thunderclap. There it is. Fly Machines were a bit out of position. Now finally getting into range. Is going to be able to finish out any of those destroyers? No, as a big Death Coil comes in to save the day. Ente now with a huge supply advantage, 65 compared to 89. And there is every reason to attack now by Ente. Ente probably does not want to go into high upkeep at all. That would really set back all of his gold resources. No, 79. No, he's at 89. 89, he is in high upkeep. I take it back. If he's at 89, might as well go to 99 and try to go for all the marbles, so to speak, with a nearly maxed out supply army. All right, destroyers are right here. We're going to see some damage onto that guard tower. Guard tower pretty much down in 3 or 3.5 volleys. Meanwhile, Flying Machines now making their way over to try and finish off some of those units. Big thunderclap across multiple units. Again, Mountain King in that front line spot. Scroll of Healing trying to save all of those units. Holy Light, no Holy Light saving. Oh, Holy Light saving that rifleman there, as the units are now going back to every which side. Disease Cloud now being used. Mountain King could try to throw down another thunderclap. As you see, well, it's slowing down multiple units and taking down so many units from that fight. All right, the fight is still going on strong. There are 3 destroyers up in the air. And, well, who is going to actually get taken down here? Mountain King still in that front line position, has a potion of lesser invulnerability, finally uses it. Are we going to see some death of some destroyers as we see another abomination? Divine Shield by the Paladin at the last possible moment. He needs the Holy Light, some of those other units as well. There's the Holy Light on that Mountain King. Scroll of Town Portal and says, you know what, I don't want to stick around here for very long. I don't think I'm going to be able to survive. And there he goes. All right, able to teleport back. Paladin is getting healed up, also getting up some mana. Militia now being called back down, trying to save this expansion while there is something to still save. The problem is, well, the Death Knight Obsidian statues, the army is just far too large, as we are going to be looking at the Water Elemental trying to come in across here. All right, Potion of Mana as well. Let's take a look at this. Stormbolt onto a unit. Is it going to get taken down? Oh, no, it does not. Death Coil in time to try and save. Paladin is right in position. Divine Shield gets it ready. Archmage gets up to level 5 now. Level 2 Water Elementals could be in the works, as we see another Thunderclap right there. Mountain King still has a good amount of mana after a Stormbolt and a Thunderclap. An Abomination finally gets taken down, fighting into a corner. 40 supply compared to 72. Everyone fighting every which way, but Ente looks like he's going to be able to inch out here. But some of those abominations are just hiding in the back, not doing anything. No, they're cannibalizing. All right, the abominations are in the back cannibalizing as opposed to actually fighting. And that is, well, what, 8 supply of units just sitting in the back, not really engaging. All right, Mountain King in a little bit of trouble, but no, it looks like Ente is going to come out with the victory. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.